When Patrick Mahomes says, "We're coming back," there's something big behind those words, and this time, it's not just locker room talk. The Chiefs, even after a painful Super Bowl loss, are quietly planning their next steps. And look, a familiar name is coming back with a thirst for revenge, and another one being projected in the draft has an insane story of overcoming adversity. That's not even counting a bold move that could go down with the 31st pick. The vibe in Kansas City isn't about the end of a cycle, it's about a smart rebuild. So get ready, because today's info is going to hit home for any true Chiefs fan. Drop a like to show support, and let's get into the video. All right, so the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting pretty, with the 31st pick in this year's NFL draft. And yeah, they've got options. Even though they came up short in the Super Bowl, this team isn't going anywhere. That championship window? Still wide open. They've already made some moves in free agency to patch things up, so outside of a few tweaks on the O-line, they're not exactly scrambling to fill holes. Sure, the wide receiver room looked shaky last season, but after locking in Hollywood Brown again, they're hoping the group stays healthy and finally clicks with Mahomes. If that happens, they're golden. Now here's where things get spicy. Kansas City has a history of being aggressive after a Super Bowl loss. They've made big moves to go after guys they believe in. Could they pull the trigger on another trade-up? Maybe. Or maybe they just sit tight and let the board fall to them. According to CBS Sports' Josh Edwards, in his latest mock draft, the Chiefs used that 31st pick on East Carolina cornerback Shavon Revel Jr., a guy with serious upside who's just trying to bounce back from a brutal ACL injury. Edwards notes that while the team just signed veteran CB Christian Fulton to lock down the outside, the ideal plan might be to bring in another young stud, so Trent McDuffie can slide back inside full-time where he thrives. With Fulton holding things down, Revel wouldn't have to be thrown into the fire right away. He could ease back into action while rehabbing and learning the system. Now, don't sleep on Revel's story. This guy's battled through a ton just to get a shot at hearing his name called on draft night. He balled out in 2023 before that injury sidelined him for most of the next season, but the talent is real. And if KC grabs him, they're not just getting depth, they could be adding another weapon to a defense that already features young playmakers like Jaden Hicks and McDuffie. Bottom line, if the Chiefs pull the trigger on Revel Jr., they're not just thinking about 2025, they're playing the long game and stacking talent to keep that dynasty train rolling. So, Chiefs fans, do you think it's worth taking a shot on a cornerback coming off an injury at this point in the game? Drop a comment, what would you do with that 31st pick? Now buckle up, because the next story is packed with emotion, behind-the-scenes drama, and a twist that could reignite an explosive connection on offense. Hollywood Brown is back in Kansas City, and both he and the Chiefs are betting that this reunion can reignite that spark from the Ravens days when he was a 1,000-yard machine and a nightmare for defenses. And look, if Patrick Mahomes has anything to say about it, this plan was already in motion before the dust even settled after the Super Bowl LAX loss. During the game, right in the middle of that disaster against the Niners, NFL Films mics caught a raw moment between the two. Brown turned to Mahomes and said, "I'm blessed to be here with you, no matter how this ends." And Mahomes replied with his trademark confidence, "We're coming back. We will come back." And that "we" wasn't just a figure of speech. It was the beginning of a return. On March 8th, the Chiefs made it official, bringing back Hollywood on a one-year deal worth up to $11 million. Brown made it clear he wanted to return from the start. "I had a great start to camp, then got hurt. Everyone wanted to see this happen. I'm glad we made it work." And by "make it work," he means playing a full, healthy season, something he hasn't done since 2021, his last year with the Ravens. That year, he hit career highs, 91 catches, 1,008 yards. Since Lamar Jackson arrived in Baltimore, only two wide receivers have crossed the 1,000-yard mark in a season, Brown and Zay Flowers. So yeah, the pedigree is there, but his time in Arizona was rough. Over 2 seasons, Brown totaled 1,183 yards and 7 TDs, solid numbers, but foot and heel injuries really held him back. and just when it looked like he was about to turn the page in KC in 2024, bam, shoulder injury on the very first drive of the preseason. He missed most of the year and even needed surgery. He didn't truly debut for the Chiefs until Week 16 against Houston, putting up 5 catches for 45 yards. 4 days later, he showed up again on Christmas against Pittsburgh with another 46 yards. Nothing crazy, but enough to show he's still got gas in the tank. "It was tough, but I was just happy to be back on the field again," said Brown. Now, with a full off-season to train, he's looking to come back better than ever. And if he pulls it off, the Chiefs might have just found that missing piece for their offense. Honestly, as a critical Chiefs fan, I see this double move with cautious optimism. Betting on Revel Jr. shows vision for the future, but it also demands patience. As for Hollywood Brown, despite the recent ups and downs, this comeback carries huge emotional and tactical weight, especially with Mahomes betting so heavily on the partnership. If he stays healthy, he really could be the dynamic target we've been waiting for. Now we just hope these pieces fall into place. Don't miss what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button and stay locked in for more updates on your favorite team.